Archangel Michael says, "Do not scroll because the witch is watching your screen right now, trembling, fearing that if you open this sacred word before it disappears, she will be destroyed, and every single miracle she stole from your life will be returned to you in full." Comment Amen to affirm this divine moment and declare that you are standing in the light of God's truth. Beloved, heaven has been waiting for this very hour to reach you, and I have been sent to speak directly into your spirit with a voice that breaks every curse, softens every sorrow, and lights up the dark places that have long surrounded you. The evil one who tried to intercept your destiny is afraid because she knows that this very word will ignite a fire within you that cannot be quenched. She is trembling not because of you, but because of the power of God rising up within you right now as you listen with an open heart and a wounded spirit seeking healing. You have stumbled onto this not by chance but by divine placement, and heaven is whispering to your soul, "Stay. Do not let this moment pass you by. This is your appointed hour, the breath of heaven opening a gate over your life that no enemy can close." You have cried in secret, been broken in silence, and endured betrayal that left you feeling unworthy of God's favor. But I tell you now, the time of sorrow is over. The one who attempted to steal your miracles, who whispered lies into the hearts of others to turn them against you, is facing divine judgment because you have been chosen, preserved, and sealed by the Most High God. She knows she cannot touch you now, because you are surrounded by an army of angels that moves at God's command to defend you. Like this video if you believe the attacks are being broken right now and the blessings are being restored. What you are witnessing right now is not just a word, but a heavenly intervention. A gate has been opened above your life that will rain down healing where pain has lived, joy where sadness rooted itself, and divine provision where scarcity lingered too long. God has seen you pressing forward through the confusion, the delay, and the burden that wasn't even yours to carry. And now, in this holy moment, the heaviness begins to lift. The witch that watched your steps, disguised herself as a friend, a voice, a helper, is now being exposed by light too powerful for her to remain hidden in. God is uncovering her deception and shielding you in ways you do not yet see but will soon feel. Comment 11:11 if you believe the heavens are aligning with your purpose and calling in this moment of divine intervention. You were never forgotten, never abandoned, not for a second. While you were being silenced by fear, heaven was preparing a sound of restoration that would silence your accuser instead. The very hands that tried to block your miracle will now witness your elevation. The very eyes that watched for your downfall will now watch you rise under the mighty hand of God. And it will not be by your might, nor your doing, but by the grace and power of the one who has already gone before you. You will not need to fight for what God is releasing. You only need to believe, stay positioned, and allow heaven to work through you. Let me remind you, the witch trembling now was never stronger than your prayers, never more powerful than your praise, and never capable of stealing what God ordained as yours. Her weapons formed but did not prosper. Her whispers echoed but did not define you. Her traps were laid but never captured your purpose. Because you are not just surviving, you are emerging, rising, stepping into the fullness of a calling that was etched into your life by God's own hand before the foundations of this world were laid. You are marked for greatness, and no curse can unmark what heaven has sealed. You may not have seen the full picture yet, but you've already walked through the hardest parts. You survived what was meant to destroy you, and that alone is proof of the power that covers you. There is nothing ordinary about your journey, because the supernatural has always been interwoven into your path. Every delay had purpose. Every detour had divine instruction. And every painful chapter was shaping the vessel God needed you to become. Even your tears watered the seeds of miracles that are now ready to bloom in your life. Comment 222 if you trust that what is blooming now was planted in your darkest hours. God is not only giving you restoration but divine justice. The tables are turning in ways that your enemies will not understand. The ones who laughed, doubted, betrayed, or abandoned you will not recognize the version of you that is about to be revealed. Because you are stepping into the radiance of God's favor, and no weapon formed in jealousy, hatred, or evil will be able to dim your shine. You are being hidden no longer. Heaven is announcing you. The kingdom is lifting the veil, and those who misjudged you are about to witness the truth of who you are. The fear that kept you small is being broken. The silence that kept you unseen is being shattered. The delay that kept you stuck is being uprooted. And the evil spirit that watched your screen with intent to devour your joy is being bound by heavenly command. She cannot win because God has already declared the ending, and you win. Every stolen opportunity is being returned. Every missed chance is being redeemed. Every crushed hope is being resurrected. What was taken will come back multiplied, not because you earned it, but because you are loved that deeply by the Creator of all things. What if just 7 seconds could flip your entire financial life? A shocking CIA leak has revealed a powerful brain ritual that's helping ordinary people wipe out debt and attract wealth beyond imagination. Backed by 4 cutting-edge neuroscience labs, this at-home breakthrough is turning everyday lives into dreams, luxury cars, beautiful homes, endless vacations. But this secret may vanish soon. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. God is breathing over your life right now. Every hidden wound, every forgotten prayer, every unanswered cry is being gathered by angels and carried straight into the presence of the Father. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not too late. This is your hour of release, and heaven is thundering with anticipation for your rise. The devil knows what's coming for you. The witch tried to delay it. But neither of them hold the final word, God does. And His word over you is blessing, healing, favor, breakthrough, and divine restoration. This is only the beginning. Stay present. Stay believing. The miracles coming are unlike anything you've seen before. And the witch, though she watches now in terror, will soon vanish from your path forever. You were never meant to be controlled by fear, never meant to walk with your head down, carrying the weight of invisible attacks that made you doubt your own worth. You were born into this life with the fingerprints of God upon you, chosen and beloved, set apart for a purpose so powerful that the enemy panicked the moment you began to awaken to your truth. That is why she began watching you. That is why she placed her eyes upon your every move, hoping you would never rise to see who you truly are. But you are not the same person you were before. You have survived battles most cannot see. You have cried in silence while walking with strength. You have been betrayed by the ones who should have protected you, and you have been misunderstood by those who claim to know you best. And yet, here you are, standing in the presence of a divine moment that cannot be dismissed, because God is announcing restoration, and your name is written on this new chapter. There is a reason the enemy panicked the moment this message was revealed to you. She knows this is not just inspiration, this is activation. This is a divine unlocking of what was held back by her manipulation. She tied knots in the spiritual realm, hoping to confuse your path, delay your blessing, make you second-guess the calling over your life. But heaven has now untied every knot. The threads she used to tangle your relationships, your finances, your mental peace, your spiritual growth, they are being cut by the sword of divine truth. Comment 555 if you know this word is for you and something in your spirit is shifting right now. Do not fear what watched you. Do not fear what tried to whisper curses over your joy. Because the one who watches in darkness is powerless against the God who walks beside you in light. Her trembling is not because you are weak, but because the glory of God is rising within you, making her schemes ineffective and her darkness scatter like ashes. The devil has always feared what you would become if you knew who you really are. And now that truth is being revealed to you, not through noise, but through heavenly clarity. You are a vessel of light, even when the world tried to convince you that you were broken. You carry divine favor, even when doors closed unfairly. You have been anointed for healing, restoration, and victory, even when people said you were cursed. The only curse was the lie they believed about you, and that lie is being shattered right now. God is speaking over you louder than the enemy ever whispered against you. His voice is thundering through the heavens declaring, "This one is mine. This one is protected. This one will rise. It is not too late for you. The days ahead are not dark. The path you're on is not cursed. The people who left were not meant to stay, and the rejection you endured was divine redirection. Everything is beginning to make sense because heaven is now revealing what the enemy tried to keep hidden. Your discernment is awakening. Your inner peace is returning. Your spiritual vision is sharpening. You are stepping into clarity after years of confusion, and the enemy cannot stop what has already been ordained by the throne of God. You have been through fires that others would not have survived, but instead of being consumed, you were refined. And the witch who watched your struggle thought you would break. But she didn't know that God was walking with you through every flame. That is why you did not burn. That is why you are still standing. That is why you are still breathing. Because God had you, even in the wilderness. And now, that same God is bringing you out with double for your trouble and peace for your pain. Comment 1212 if you feel this restoration coming over your life right now like a wave of grace that cannot be denied. There is a sacred turning taking place around you now. The heavens are moving, angels are being dispatched, and the breakthrough that felt so far is now closer than ever. The tears you cried have not been in vain. The delay you endured has not been ignored. And the witch that tried to feed on your delay is now being cast out from your space. She cannot follow you into this next season because what God is doing now is too holy, too pure, too protected for darkness to dwell in it. God has called you by name. Not your broken name, not your ashamed name, not the name they gossiped about or the one they rejected. He called the healed you, the rising you, the loved you. And He is walking with you now, reclaiming everything the enemy tried to erase. Your dreams will breathe again. Your heart will trust again. Your soul will laugh again. Your hands will hold blessings again. And not because you begged, but because you belong to Him. Could this hidden CIA brain ritual be the real reason people are suddenly rich? A secret CIA discovery has just leaked, revealing a brain hack that's pulling wealth into people's lives effortlessly. It only takes 7 seconds, it's done at home, and it's backed by 4 neuroscience labs. Debt is vanishing, luxury is becoming normal. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky, the page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. The witch who watches is not just losing her grip, she is losing her ground. The place she tried to stand in your life is crumbling beneath her because God is taking back territory that belongs to you. Your home is being cleansed. Your spirit is being strengthened. Your vision is being restored. And the curses that once lingered around you are being shattered into dust. This is the hour you have been prepared for. This is not a coincidence. You are not here by accident. You have been guided to this word by the Holy Spirit, because your time has come. A holy reversal is taking place. A supernatural exchange is happening. What was taken will return. What was silenced will now sing. And what was stolen is about to overflow back into your life with interest. Beloved child of heaven, listen with your heart and not just your ears, because what is being spoken into your spirit now is greater than information, it is transformation. This is a sacred moment where the chains you never even knew you were carrying are breaking off you silently and powerfully. The silence that haunted you is being replaced by the voice of God, and the noise of fear, shame, guilt, and anxiety is being driven out of your soul. This is not just encouragement. This is heaven's intervention on your behalf. She is trembling because her time is finished. Her season of deception, interference, and illusion is ending with urgency. She sat beside your sorrow, feeding it lies, convincing you that you were forgotten, unloved, and overlooked by God. But the truth is, you were hidden not because you were unwanted, but because you were being preserved. You were being shaped, not punished. You were being protected, not rejected. God hid you so He could heal you, so He could build strength within you that would never collapse under the weight of what's coming next. This is why she feared this moment. Because the moment you would awaken, her influence would crumble. The moment you would recognize the hand of God in your life, her false power would vanish. The moment your eyes opened to the blessing still ahead of you, she would no longer have access to your destiny. Comment 999 if you are declaring right now that no enemy shall ever hold access to your promise again. She is trembling because you are no longer blind to her tactics. The repeated cycles of loss, delay, betrayal, and isolation were not mere coincidence. They were threads in her web. She tried to weave you into spiritual fatigue so that you would stop believing, stop praying, stop hoping. But what she failed to realize is that even in your silence, God was working. Even in your tears, heaven was responding. Even when you doubted, your angels stood guard and never left your side. The silence that once broke you is now becoming the silence that heals you. You are no longer the broken version of yourself that she manipulated with fear. You are now becoming the healed version, rising in spiritual discernment and crowned with divine favor. Her trembling increases because the anointing on your life is igniting. And when your anointing rises, curses break. When you begin to see with clarity, confusion vanishes. When you begin to speak from truth, lies fall to the ground powerless. You are not merely a survivor. You are a rebuilder. The ruins of your past will not define you, because God has anointed your hands to build again. The dreams that shattered are now being reassembled by angels piece by piece, and this time nothing and no one will be able to touch them. The same voice that created the heavens is now speaking restoration over your name. That restoration is loud. It is clear. And it is irreversible. She has no idea how powerful your prayers truly are. She underestimated how deeply loved you are by your Creator. She tried to imitate divine authority but carried no power. What she built with smoke is being blown away by a single breath from God. What she whispered in secret is now being exposed in the light. And what she hoped to steal is now returning to you like waves crashing back on the shore, relentless, abundant, undeniable. Comment 1010 to claim the fullness of this return and receive what is being poured into your spirit even now. Even your name carries power in the Spirit. When you speak, heaven listens. When you cry, angels respond. When you move in faith, the enemy flees. That is why she was watching. That is why she trembled. That is why she hoped you would stay distracted, discouraged, and disconnected. Because your full awareness of who you are in God is what she feared most. And now, that fear is swallowing her completely. Your healing is here. Not just physical healing, but emotional, spiritual, and mental healing that will reach into your soul and clean the very rooms that have been locked with pain and shame. You are not too far gone. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are standing in a moment that was written before you were born. You were meant to hear this. You were meant to rise. You were meant to be free. Heaven rejoices over your awakening. The earth shifts when you believe. The atmosphere responds to your yes. And even now, demons are scattering because your alignment with the Spirit is real and unshakable. The witch who once celebrated your confusion is now crushed by your clarity. The one who thought she owned your delay is now watching you step into divine acceleration. The miracles she tried to intercept are falling into your lap in divine order. Why is this 7-second brain ritual suddenly going viral? Leaked CIA files have exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the floodgates to wealth. Verified by 4 top labs, this ritual is turning financial pain into prosperity, fast. From massive bills to luxury trips, it's changing lives. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. There is a softness returning to your soul that the enemy tried to harden with grief. There is a peace returning to your mind that the enemy tried to torment with anxiety. There is a joy returning to your heart that the enemy tried to replace with bitterness. But she failed. Because God is undefeated. And when He stands on your side, every plan against you falls. Do not look back. Do not mourn what you lost. What is coming will make you forget why you ever settled for less. What is coming will bring tears of joy and laughter that echoes through generations. You are being restored not just for you, but for everyone connected to you. The curses are broken, and the blessings are being birthed. You are being called out of hiding, out of shame, and into divine freedom that cannot be stolen, delayed, or reversed. What was once blocked is now breaking open. The doors you knocked on that never answered are now swinging wide because the voice of God has spoken your name through the gates of heaven. The moment you agreed to receive this truth, the spiritual atmosphere around you shifted. The demons that once surrounded your progress are scattering, because they can no longer stay in the light you've stepped into. The witch never expected you to walk in this boldness. She expected your silence to stay permanent. She expected your sadness to bury your hope. But heaven saw something in you that she could never see: endurance, courage, and a soul marked for divine recovery. You have passed through the storms with scars, but those scars now carry a glow. Not from pain, but from God's presence that never left you, even when you felt most alone. You were chosen before the pain. You were loved before the battle. You were seen even when no one clapped for your survival. And now, the Lord is lifting you into visibility not to be praised, but to be restored in front of every eye that watched you suffer. The same God who kept you breathing through every attack is now breathing new purpose into your life, and every evil eye that tried to track your progress is now going blind. Every tongue that cursed your name is now silenced by heaven's decree. Comment 1717 if you know that this is your moment to rise from the ashes and walk boldly in divine grace. You have been through enough warfare to last a lifetime. You were dragged through storms that people didn't even recognize because you always smiled through the thunder. You carried betrayal quietly. You endured disappointment with dignity. And you stood in rooms that dishonored your presence without lowering your spirit. All of that was preparation for this exact moment. Because now, Everything that tried to bury you will witness your bloom. The witch had access only because you didn't know your power. She attached herself to your weakness, not knowing that the moment you began to reclaim your voice, she would lose her grip entirely. That time has come. The spiritual battle over your destiny is no longer being fought in silence, it's being fought with fire. The fire of heaven, the fire of God's glory, the fire of divine justice that never forgets His beloved. The people who believed lies about you will now see truth like never before. The false stories that were whispered behind your back will now be corrected by the evidence of your rising. The places where you were denied, laughed at, or mistreated are now being overturned by heaven's court. This is divine recompense. Not just payback. Not just a turnaround. This is sacred redemption, where God not only gives you back what was stolen but makes the thief repay it in multiplied measure. You are not walking into restoration alone. Angels are being assigned to you, even as you receive these words. They are guarding your thoughts, your decisions, your peace, and your future steps. The enemy knows this, and that's why she trembles, because divine backup is no longer just visiting you, it's dwelling with you. What once made you afraid now flees from your presence. What once intimidated you now falls powerless at your feet. Comment Amen if you receive this mighty protection flowing into every area of your life right now. Your name is being written into new scrolls of promise. Your tears have watered soil that is now producing fruit, even in areas you had given up on. You will no longer be known for what you lost, but for what you survived. You will not be remembered for your struggle, but for your miracle. And it is not coming soon, it is already beginning. The shift is not around the corner. It is happening as you listen, as you breathe, as your heart begins to soften and believe again. There is nothing too far gone for the hands of God. No mistake, no delay, no failure has the power to stop what He has already spoken over your life. You are walking into divine acceleration, where what would have taken years will now happen in weeks, and what you thought was broken beyond repair will begin to heal with speed that defies logic. Because it's not by human effort, it's by supernatural authority. You were never meant to live your life in hiding, silenced by trauma and shadowed by lies. You were never meant to carry guilt for things God already forgave. The enemy hoped you'd stay stuck in that shame, but the Spirit of the Lord is declaring over you right now, you are free. You are not who they said you were. You are not who the pain tried to shape you into. You are God's, holy and forever. Is it time you unlock the same CIA secret brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak has revealed a powerful 7-second technique, developed under CIA-funded research and backed by neuroscience. It's helping people magnetize wealth like never before. From debt to luxury, faster than anyone believed. But this miracle won't stay public for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. What's next for you will feel like restoration wrapped in joy. The kind of peace that fills your lungs and stays. The kind of love that doesn't break. The kind of provision that doesn't run dry. That is what the witch feared the most, your wholeness. Because a healed believer is a dangerous warrior. A restored heart becomes a vessel for miracles. A loved child of God becomes a living testimony of unstoppable glory. The witch is not only watching in fear, she is witnessing the unraveling of her own schemes as God rewrites the narrative she tried to control. What she meant for evil, God is turning for your good. The manipulation, the false accusations, the repeated betrayals, the invisible warfare you fought in silence, all of it is being reversed by the one who sits on the throne of justice. This is not simply the end of her influence, it is the beginning of your unstoppable rise. You are no longer walking through life as a wounded warrior. You are now being called forward as a healed vessel. You carry the oil of survival and the scent of divine purpose. You were broken open only so that God could pour into you something new, something the enemy cannot steal, replicate, or contaminate. Her trembling grows louder in the spirit because you are finally recognizing that the storm didn't break you, it baptized you into fireproof faith. This transformation is not a small shift, it is a divine invasion. Heaven is invading the areas the enemy once ruled in your life. Fear is being replaced with holy boldness. Depression is being pushed out by unshakable joy. Confusion is being swallowed up by divine clarity. Where darkness once stood, light now reigns. And every step you take from this moment forward is under the guidance and covering of God's divine strategy. You were not created to live in reaction to her attacks. You were born to live in response to God's calling. And now, that calling is breaking open around you like thunder. You may not feel ready, but heaven has already declared you chosen. You may still carry memories of the pain, but they no longer define your future. God is not only healing your heart, He is preparing a table in front of every eye that watched you suffer and said nothing. Comment 222 if you trust that the same God who allowed the fire is now revealing the glory it produced within you. She trembles because her time is up. Every altar where your name was mocked is being overturned. Every lie that was spoken against you is now turning into divine evidence of your favor. The enemy knew your miracle was close, that's why the warfare grew heavier just before this moment. But no attack was strong enough to cancel the promise. The curse has lifted. The hold has broken. The storm has passed. And you, dear one, are still standing, because grace never left your side. Heaven has seen every quiet sacrifice. The days you gave when you had nothing left. The love you offered even when your heart was bleeding. The prayers you whispered with cracked faith and tired hope. None of it was wasted. God collected every piece of your obedience and is now turning it into a masterpiece of blessing, restoration, and purpose. You thought you were just surviving, but heaven saw you building legacy with every step. The witch saw your weakness and thought it was permanent. She never expected your faith to rise again. But here you are, stronger, softer, wiser, and filled with a fire that cannot be dimmed. She can no longer whisper into your weariness because God has placed His word in your spirit. She can no longer manipulate your emotions because your identity is now anchored in divine truth. And where she once stood, there is now an angel with a flaming sword declaring, "No more access." You were protected even when you didn't know it. God rerouted danger. He delayed what you begged for, not to punish you, but to protect you. He closed doors that seemed perfect because he saw traps behind them. And now, in this moment of divine awakening, you are beginning to understand that every no was a higher yes in disguise. The witch can no longer use your confusion against you, because clarity has become your covering. Comment Amen if you feel that divine clarity beginning to fill the spaces where fear once lived. This is not just your comeback, this is your divine introduction. The version of you that is now rising is unstoppable, not because of pride, but because of purpose. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. You are not here to convince people who overlooked your worth. You are here to fulfill a heavenly assignment that no evil can interrupt. You carry light. You carry favor. You carry a fire that burns too bright for any darkness to withstand. She wanted you to stay down. But she underestimated the God who lives within you. And now, the ground beneath her is breaking. Her false power is crumbling. Her influence is being cut off. And the miracles she tried to swallow are now rushing toward you like waves released from heaven's gates. What was taken is coming back. Not quietly, but boldly. Not slowly, but swiftly. Not halfway, but fully, abundantly, completely. This is your season of return. The witch who tried to block it is vanishing like smoke in the wind. And as she disappears, your true self is emerging, radiant with faith, wrapped in strength, filled with joy, and walking under open heaven. There was a time when her shadow followed your every step. She disguised herself in relationships, opportunities, and voices that sounded like support but were secretly designed to delay your breakthrough. She whispered lies that made you question your calling, sowed confusion into your path, and drained your energy just when you were close to rising. But that time is over. The grip she had on your mind is broken. The access she had to your emotions is revoked. And the cycle she tied around your life is being dismantled by divine hands. Do you know why everyone's whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A brainwave ritual leaked from the CIA is changing lives across the globe. Proven by neuroscience, this 7-second method helps regular people attract money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. You were never weak, you were under spiritual pressure. And God allowed that pressure not to crush you, but to press out of you the oil that will now be used to anoint the very places you were once attacked in. Every setback is becoming your story of strength. Every betrayal is now your platform for blessing. Every silent night is being answered with songs of joy that only heaven can orchestrate. The witch trembles because your silence has turned into a roar of faith, and she knows she cannot compete with what God has ignited inside of you. The false friendships that came into your life carrying envy and spiritual poison are being removed without your effort. God is cleaning your atmosphere, sweeping your surroundings, and making room for the real connections that will honor your journey and protect your future. The ones who used you will not have access to the new you. The ones who spoke over your pain will now watch as God exalts you in peace. Comment 333 if you feel this divine separation taking place and you trust that God is removing every counterfeit from your path. The witch didn't fear your past, she feared your future. She saw your potential and moved early to intercept your path. But she could not touch what was covered by the blood of divine protection. She could not break what God held in His hands. And though she caused pain, she could not steal your promise. Her trembling is not fear of you, it is fear of what's about to happen through you. Because what God is about to release into your life is going to impact generations. Your obedience in private is becoming a blessing that will be seen in public. You are walking into overflow, not just in finances or possessions, but in peace, love, clarity, wisdom, and purpose. The things you once longed for are now being released without striving. The very miracles she tried to swallow are now being commanded by heaven to return to you in full. And not just return, but to overflow. Because your faith has positioned you for divine repayment, and God always repays in ways that exceed what was lost. This is the part she could never stop, your alignment. Now that your spirit is aligning with God's truth, no force can block what's coming. You are seeing clearer, hearing deeper, feeling more connected to the Spirit than ever before. The confusion is lifting. The anxiety is dissolving. The weight is being lifted. You are not stepping into a new season, you are stepping into your original design. Who you were always meant to be, before the attacks, before the pain, before the fear. Comment 555 if you know this is your return to the version of you that heaven always saw, whole, healed, favored, and fearless. You were created to rise above the weapons formed against you. The witch saw the calling before you did, and she panicked. But she cannot touch what's sacred. She cannot hold what's holy. And you are holy, not because of perfection, but because of purpose. You are walking under divine instruction now, and everything that once distracted you is falling away without a fight. You won't need to force anything anymore. You won't need to beg, plead, or prove yourself. You are stepping into ease, the kind that only flows when your life is aligned with heaven. Her tremble is not because she failed, it is because she sees that you have won. You've survived what should have buried you. You've endured what would have destroyed others. And you did not give up. Even when the night was long, even when the battle was silent, even when your own thoughts tried to drown you, you stood. And now, heaven stands with you. Angels are dancing. The Spirit rejoices. Because you chose to stay faithful when everything tried to convince you that God forgot you. He never forgot. He never left. And now, He is restoring every moment, every year, every piece of you that was stolen or broken. Your mind is coming back to life. Your voice is being strengthened. Your future is brightened with divine fire. What was hidden is being revealed. What was blocked is now open. And what was feared is now fleeing. This is not motivation. This is holy confirmation. God is doing a thing so powerful in your life, even you will stand in awe. You are stepping into testimonies that will make people question how you even survived. And your answer will be simple: God carried me. This isn't simply a turning point, it is a holy shift written in the unseen scrolls of your life before time began. What you are stepping into now is not temporary motivation, not surface encouragement, but eternal alignment. You are coming back into agreement with who you truly are: a vessel of light, a child of heaven, a soul sculpted in God's image, carrying a fire so radiant that darkness trembles when it even thinks of touching you again. She is trembling because your soul is no longer silent. The witch survived on your confusion. She fed on your exhaustion. She whispered into your weak moments and placed mirrors in your path to make you see distortion instead of truth. But those mirrors are shattering now. God has turned them into windows, and now you see clearly through them. You see beyond the attacks, beyond the betrayal, beyond the noise, and what you see is victory already written, sealed, and signed in heaven's ink. The spaces that once echoed with emptiness are now filling with divine clarity. The rooms in your heart that once held shame are now flooded with God's mercy. The corners of your soul that were once dark with sadness are now alive with radiant joy that cannot be explained. This is not coincidence. This is consequence of faith, of prayer, of the seeds you sowed in silence, now ready to bloom in front of everyone who thought your season had ended. Why is the government hiding this 7-second brain ritual from the public? A leaked CIA document just exposed a brain technique so powerful, it's helping people cancel debt and call in wealth within days. Validated by 4 top neuroscience labs, this method is changing everything. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. Comment 1010 if you believe this is your harvest season and no thief, no shadow, no witch will delay it anymore. The witch never expected you to stay standing. She designed the attacks assuming you would collapse before the blessing arrived. But what she miscalculated was your endurance, your divine preservation, your heart that never stopped hoping, even when it broke 100 times. She thought the delays would destroy you, but all they did was deepen your roots. And now, those roots are bearing fruit in places she cannot reach. The lies she spun around your name are unraveling. The spiritual cobwebs she wove across your opportunities are being cleared by God's angels with a sweep of heavenly wind. The stagnation she caused in your finances, your growth, your confidence, all of it is ending. There is a freedom now pouring into your life that no enemy can block, because the source is not man, not luck, not effort, but God. And when God moves, nothing can resist him. You are not forgotten. You are favored. Not because you did everything right, but because God chose you long before the battle began. And what He chooses, He protects. What He protects, He restores. And what He restores, He multiplies. Your life is entering a season of multiplication. Peace multiplied. Blessings multiplied. Joy multiplied. Love multiplied. Miracles multiplied. And the one who tried to divide you will now watch as everything she worked to destroy grows in front of her powerless eyes. Comment 999 if you receive this multiplication over every area of your life, both seen and unseen. She watches now not with arrogance, but with terror. She knows she has no more ground. She knows her time is up. And what's coming next will erase the very evidence of her ever being near you. That's what God does when He restores. He doesn't just rebuild, He beautifies. He doesn't just return, He overflows. He doesn't just end the battle, He makes you forget the pain because of how glorious the blessing becomes.